why were they questioning you that way, and why were they treating me that way?
I love Americans, but I cannot handle shoes in the house.
With the two of you being from, very, very different cultures, there were probably some things that you had to get used to. What were some of the things that you had to get used to when you guys got married?
Lots of things. I wouldn't say some things. I think
Everything. British English, for one. We both speak English. But he'd be like, oh, can you toss this in the dustbin? I'm like, what is a dustbin? You mean the trash can?
I had to get used to initially walking in the house with like shoes and all, and then I had to set like a rule like, Rachel, I love Americans, but I cannot handle shoes in the house. Like that's not going to work out here.
So what is the thinking behind that, though? I always wondered about the shoes.
Please explain, Rachel.
I cannot defend my country in this. I'm so sorry. And I have not worn shoes in the house for over 8 years now. Don't worry, you guys. I don't know. I feel like I grew up and it was just normal to wear your shoes in and out of the house. It was not a thing to take them off. Mm-hmm. And I really don't know, guys. I have no answer. I have no defense of America.
Yeah, but it's definitely a lot of things. Like two people coming from different families already, there's lots of things that you bring into like a marriage. But coming from two different continents is a whole other ball game.
Plus, we were colonized by the Brits, and then you say stuff like dustbin.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take before you Americanized yourself and then started using word like trash can and give me the candy?
When did you become free?
Oh man, it took a while. I feel like I'm not 100% there yet, even after 11 years living in America. Okay. There's still little things that pops out here and there.
Yeah, but I feel like you do a really good job of code switching, and I think we've both kind of learned that. Like when I'm here, I know to call it a queue, not a line.
Oh.
Things like that, where we kind of code switch back and forth, or we call it a toilet or washroom here, where in these states we call it a bathroom. So I feel like kind of depending where we are, we code switch and try to assimilate a little bit more.
And I feel like it's way more than what the average person thinks. Like I went to a mall and I wanted to buy, like what we call short pants, right? That's normal. Right? We all know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I go to like a place and I say like, hey, ma'am, I'm looking for shorts. I'm looking for short pants. And she's like, what do you want? Do you want pants or do you want shorts? I'm like, short pants. Because we call it long pants and short pants.
Right. Yeah.
But in America, it's shorts or pants.
Okay, I'm agreeing with your wife here. They're called shorts. They're
Thank
shorts.
Thank you.
Why? Because they're not long.
Because they're not.
Yeah. That's a choice.
I can accept that one. I can accept.
Okay. But honestly, the argument that is yet to be settled in our house is, are slippers shoes?
Oh my god.
Oh
no.
Slippers
are not shoes.
No,
they're not. Slippers are slippers. Shoes are shoes. And for her, it's like everything shoes.
It falls under the category of footwear.
I agree with you. It does. It falls under the category. It's just a different type.
You know what?
You've got sneakers, you've got loafers, you've got slippers.
I love it. The Kumars have just given us our next topic.
So, maybe you'd want to share some of the difficult parts also. Living in America, did you face any situations where you faced racism, or you were pulled over, or you were judged because of the way that you looked, Logesh?
Yeah, I mean, growing up in Malaysia, it's a bit more straightforward. You get people saying mean things to you, like you're so dark and you're Indian, so you only can do this and that.
Yeah.
So it's like you get those kind of things straight up, and I guess like we are built a little bit differently. In America, though, the experience is there's still racism, but it's in a different way because it's a very, very illegal to be a racist. You get things like on the back end. So I can remember of this one story where I was taking out Rachel on our anniversary dinner, and so I borrowed a friend's car. It was a really nice car. Obviously, I don't own a nice car, but I borrowed his car just to make it a special date. So I drove into the city with her in this like nice Audi. It's my friend's car, and it's something in America where you don't have to have both license plates. Is that correct?
You don't. Some counties don't require you to have a front license plate.
Correct.
You have to have a back license plate.
Okay.
So we're traveling into the city, and this guy and his car, he didn't have a front license plate. It's not my car, I just borrowed it. And so the police pulled us over and said like, hey, you should be having a license plate in this county or whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry, I borrowed this car. It's not my car. I can take the fine. We can deal with it later. But what happened on the other side?
Yeah, so like the one police officer was talking to Logesh. It was kind of being like a little bit like, I don't know, a little abrasive and was like questioning like, why isn't this your car? Whose car is it? Was asking more questions. And I'm kind of sitting there angry. It's our wedding anniversary. It's supposed to be a happy time. And this other police officer comes over to my side of the car and it's like, ma'am, are you okay? Are you safe? Are you okay right now? And I was like, and it took me like a little while to process, like, are they thinking that this is some type of like being held against my will situation? It was just such a strange thing for me. And for like afterwards we were processing it, like, why were they questioning you that way and why were they treating me that way?
Yeah, so it's like I mentioned, it's not straight up in your face. I can't accuse the police officer of being a racist, but it just made me feel horrible right after. Like, why am I treated differently as a human being? You know, like, why must I be like questioned or be treated that way? So I feel like that's kind of challenging, and there's a lot of stories, little mini stories like this. There's nothing you can do. Unfortunately, there's nothing. I mean,
create awareness is what you could do.
Yeah,
exactly. So I really wanted the world to see this. You know, this is the reality. You know, a lot of people say like, "Oh, you live in America, it's so cool," but like, no, there's things that we go through that's kind of challenging, and yeah, the experience in Malaysia in that context is so different.
right.
So yeah.